Hey y'all, it's Andrew. If you've ever gone to a Mardi Gras parade in New Orleans, you probably walked away covered in these. Mardi Gras beads are something we throw by the uncountable thousands. And in the moment when the parade is happening, it can feel really compelling. Someone on a float has picked you out of the entire crowd to throw stuff to. A lot of us have kind of a dog brain in us that sees something flying and wants to go fetch. The problem with getting them is that then you have them, and they start to lose value pretty much the second that they're in your hand. So what to do with your beads? The other day, I posted a video of the 2022 Mardi Gras house floats. These are houses decorated like parade floats, and one of them was covered in big images of one particular local solution to this problem: bead dogs. I have here for you one to scale. And a lot of y'all were interested in learning how to make one, so by popular demand, I'm going to show you how to make a bead dog and share a few other solutions to the bead problem. First, I should say, this is not a problem for everybody. You have people who are perfectly happy to go home with the beads they've caught and have them as souvenirs or as gifts. So if that's you, awesome. But if you're in town and you're still going to parades, you might get a chance during one of the parades to efficiently and really satisfyingly give the beads back. Not every float parade does this, but some of them, every here and there, they'll have one that's just a big mascot. So the crew of Tux, for example, their mascot is a giant monk. And during the crew of Bacchus parade, you have King Kong, Queen Kong, and Baby Kong, 3 huge apes. And people in the crowd who are in the know, when they see those floats, know that it is time to take off some of their beads and return to sender. So this is a great option. You can get rid of a lot at once, but the window of opportunity is real small. You gotta be at the parade, and even then, blink and you'll miss it. So there is also a year-round salvage operation in town. Arc of Greater New Orleans is an organization that is there to help people with learning and developmental disabilities. And one of their programs is a bead recycling program. They will take Mardi Gras throws of all kinds, and they hire people with those disabilities to sort and repackage them, which they then sell back to the crews to throw next year. So not only does this provide work, but it also lessens the need for newly made throws to be bought the subsequent year. The problem with that is that once a string of beads is damaged, it really can't be repaired. So beads that break, if they want to have a second life, have to be used as something else, and that is where bead dogs come in. You can imagine kids find the throw element particularly exciting, and for them, it can be really disappointing if a string of beads lands on the ground, or even if they catch it and it snaps, which happens all the time. So the adults in their lives learn how to teach them to make a bead dog. So I've got a broken string of beads here. I am gonna teach y'all how to make one of these guys. Super easy. First, it's worth trying to figure out where your string of beads broke. It's possible that it snapped the string, but much more likely it snapped where 2 beads are melted onto each other, in which case you're gonna have a little melty black spot on each of those end beads, which doesn't look like the rest of the bead. So if you want the best looking bead dog you can get, then you can just twist one of those first beads until it comes off. Pretty easy to do, and start from one that looks matchy. So your new first bead on the string is gonna be the dog's nose. And from there, you're gonna count out the next 4 beads to be the dog's face. What you're gonna do to make that happen is turn those 4 beads into a square with the nose down below it, and that'll turn it into a rectangle like that, made out of 6 beads, with the string crossing over itself, making an X at the bottom. And then you just push those beads through each other, and what you'll get is your dog face shape, with the nose in front and the ears up above. To get that to stay and to really be symmetrical, you're probably gonna want to twist it again. This depends on the size of the beads, how much string there is between them, but more often than not, that's what you gotta do. So we have our dog head. That trick of making this square sitting on top of 2 beads, the whole process is just that 3 times in different directions. So now, going along the string, the bead on the back of it is gonna be the dog's neck. And we take the next 4 beads to make his front legs, which are gonna look suspiciously like his head. You make that rectangle again, and then snap it through. Give it a second snap, Give it a little twist to make sure everything faces the right direction. And you've got the front of your dog. Head and front legs. The new next bead on the string is gonna be the dog's body. And from there, you're gonna count out 4 beads again, and those are gonna be his back legs, made exactly the same way. So again, you make a square, you snap the beads through, give it an extra twist, and ta-da, you have your dog. Now at the present moment, he has a very, very long tail, so we're gonna dock it. You just give him a couple beads worth of tail, or 3 if you feel like having that really stand out, and you twist between the beads of your choice. Until it snaps off. And ta-da, our little curious looking bead dog. The limitations around that kind of reuse are pretty obvious. You only need so many bead dogs in your life, and unless you're making really long, saggy dachshunds, this is going to use a very short sequence of broken beads. So there is a larger scale approach to reusing beads, which is that some people in town use beads to make mosaics, using different sizes of beads and different textures and ones that receive light differently to really have kind of a sculptural impact. The people who do that work generally aren't hurting for supply, and so to my knowledge, they do not take donations. So if you want to get rid of your beads while you're in town, Arc of Greater New Orleans is the best resource for that. You can consult their map and find various locations, including a couple of grocery stores very close to main touristic areas where you can do that drop-off. We'll have a link to that in the description too. We've talked about recycling and reusing, and their typical third companion, reducing, definitely has a place in this conversation too. The whole bead tradition begins with glass beads, which are still occasionally thrown today. I don't keep Mardi Gras beads, but I did hang on to this set of glass beads that I got thrown one year because they just stand out so much from everything else that gets thrown at the parades. There's not really a reduction in overall throwing at parades right now, but there are parades that are conscientiously shifting the ratio of what they throw somewhat away from beads and towards things that are meant to be useful. In our house alone, we have, from different Mardi Gras parades, coasters, notebooks, oven mitts, sleep masks, and the crew of Tux, which is toilet themed, throws plungers, toilet paper, and toilet brushes, which nobody can deny are useful. So these, plus the huge popularity of handmade signature throws, kind of seem to signify a shift back towards the specialness principle that glass beads were originally about. We also posted a video during Mardi Gras 2021 about how the holiday was adapting to the particular strangeness of that year. And one thing we mentioned then was that LSU, Louisiana State University, had some research going on into the possibility of making biodegradable Mardi Gras beads based from algae. And we have an update on that. This year, 2 different parades have had floats that were distributing biodegradable Mardi Gras beads. They created a great video about how that's going and how the whole thing works. Definitely recommend checking that one out. So there you have it, a few possible solutions to the problem of too many Mardi Gras beads. And there are plenty of others, so please feel free to share ideas or things that you've seen done well down in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, please give us the favor of a like so other folks can find it. Thanks so much for watching, y'all, and happy Mardi Gras.